think what I'm giving them back, man, is what they've been waiting for. You know what I mean? Skills. What? Just the things seem the same. And the whole scene is lame. I come and rain with the unexplained for the brains. The things change. They strain the sling. I'm trained to bring game. History that I arrange. Been regained by King James. Go to practice with tactics, with attractics, theatrics. Women that look like actresses. Status of Cleopatra. Stacks of mathematics to feed your AD.
All right, bless up, one and all. Welcome to another edition of the Troy, almost said Troy Dorsey, the Troy Graham Experience. The Troy Graham Experience. And on tonight's show, also, I am the aforementioned Troy Graham. And on tonight's show, we have two titans of the ring meeting again after 30 years, after that classic fight they had up 30 years ago. We have the Flushing Flash, Mr. Kevin Kelly, and Troy Dorsey. He who shall not be moved is here. So, gentlemen, how you doing? How are you doing, man? You on mute, Kevin. You on mute, Kevin.
Oh, I'm doing great. I'm doing great. It's crazy. You know, accidentally, somehow, a friend of mine sent me the link of me and Dorsey's fight today, and I watched it. And I'm glad we're both fine after that.
Where did he find that? Because I was trying to find it all day. I couldn't find it.
Well, it's up there now. It's up there now. It has 10 views. I don't know. Somebody had took it down, I guess. I don't know why. It's a classic battle. You know, two great fighters. And every time I watch it, I think it should have been a draw. I really do. I really think it should have been a draw. But, you know, because nobody wins a fight like that.
You know what?
I was going to say I should have got the W.
I thought at best it was a draw, like I said, at best, because fights like that, at the stage we were both in our career, you know, Dorsey had already fought Payet, so pretty much he was almost at the end, I think, of the boxing career, and I was on my beginning, kind of. But I caught him he was still Dorsey at the same time. No matter what stage he was at in his career, he was still Troy Dorsey. And I appreciate that fight. I never had a fight like that again. But, you know, years later, of course, you appreciate something like that. You know, because that's what made me. I mean, when I fought Gainer with the one eye closed, it wasn't as bad as Troy Dorsey's fight. When I fought Prince, that wasn't bad at all. That was an easy one to me. But I never had an experience like that again. You know what I'm saying? So that's pretty amazing. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Kevin.
Yeah. Because like I said, that was so. I knew once I did that, I could do anything. You know, and you know, and at the time, you know, everybody looked at me like a knockout punch. I'm 26-0, 20 knockouts. You know, of course, I'm on the rise. But like I said, you know, what's real about boxing is very true. It's real about it. That when you get in that ring and you get an experience like that you never had before. And Phil, I never forget, Phil told me, in the fourth round, I said, Phil, what do I got to do to knock him out and get it over with? He said, you're not. Welcome to boxing. Welcome to boxing. You're fighting an animal. So at the end of the day, it's a great experience.
Yeah, Kev. Sorry about that. But I got a question for you, Troy, because you know, Kevin just spoke great about how tough you were. What actually made him so tough for you to fight? Where y'all also, right? You all threw how many punches in that fight?
2,806 punches. I still remember to this day. 2,806.
I threw 1,587.
Yeah, I probably got hit with most of them. But like I said, the thing was, like I said, you know, even my friend watching it, seen it for the first time today. He's seeing it for the first time. And he kept texting me like every 3 rounds. I still can't believe. Matter of fact, Randy Gordon, the commissioner at the time, said to me when the fight was over, this would have been the first fight I was going to stop because I thought it was too barbaric.
Wow.
Yeah, it was actually, like I said, if you watch it, you can't believe, you know, and people, when I watch it with people, they hug me because they can't believe that I'm still alive after that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you never know what you're capable of doing until you have to do it. And Troy knows that, and that's the thing. And like, you know, I don't think he expected me to fight him as sorts. I don't expect me to pretty much stick and move. And you can't beat Troy Dorsey fighting him that way because you're not going to win. He's going to eventually break you down.
Okay. Okay, Troy, you jump on in here, man. You know, and you give your summary of the
Yeah,
fight.
yeah.
Yeah.
Kevin was an awesome fighter. Yeah, we both threw lots of punches in that fight, and he proved he had guts when he was on that fight. I threw a 23 or 26 punch combination. I think the 11th round. Anyway,
Yeah,
he
I
was on
remember
the
that.
ropes. He put his hands down, and I just thought he didn't give up. You know, I don't think anyone would have said anything if Kevin would have gave up and quit. I don't think because this fight was nothing but face to face, chin to chin, punch to punch, go go go. It was something
Yeah,
else. Yes.
yeah, yeah, great. And like I said, when people talk about great fight, I think that's one of them. I always tell people there's no such thing as great fighters. There's only such thing as great fights. And that was a great fight. I mean, I always hear about it. I still to this day I hear about it. I only got 3 fights that people talk about. Hey Dorsey, how many fights they talk about with you?
Paez fights, Kevin Kelly fight, and Oscar De La Hoya.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
so with me they talk about me and you first, right? And then me
Right.
and Gainer and me and the Prince. So I got 3. Like I said, I got 72 pro fights, but I only hear about 3 of them. So I mean, I'm glad I could leave the public with that. That's a great thing. And I'm glad I could share the ring with the great Troy Dorsey, who became the first man in history to win a kickboxing world title and a boxing world title at the same time.
That's a big deal. That's a big deal. How did you accomplish both of those, Troy? Because I know we spoke about this maybe a year or so ago when you were on my show, but you go ahead and walk through your history. Before you got to boxing, and then transition into boxing.
Okay. Well, I started karate when I was 11. That was 50 years ago. 50 years ago in June. So started kickboxing, or I started doing martial arts, started doing point karate tournaments, and then I went. My instructor took me to a kickboxing match. It was here in Dallas, and I saw kickboxing. I said, "Oh, I got to get in that. I got to do that." So I fought a couple of months later and had my first kickboxing fight in October '79, and then I kept fighting, and went pro in '81. Then I wanted to be a better boxer in kickboxing, so I went to a boxing gym with David Gorman's Super Pro boxing gym. Uh, Don Curry was a world champion. Gene Hatcher, Rockin' Robin Blank was, I think, a NABF champion. Anyways, those guys were there, and I just thought I needed to connect myself with trainers and fighters like that. So I started training there, and I had my first boxing match in April '85. My first pro boxing match, and then that was '85. Then Kevin and I met in '92. So between his fight and my fights, I just kept on moving forward. I fought Jorge Paez twice. Someone just made me a plaque and put it on.
I was going to ask you to show that. We're good. I'm glad you.
Someone made this for me, and it says right here, the Guinness Book of World Records. Troy Dorsey landed 620 punches, and
Wow.
that's when I fought Jorge Paez, and
I saw that fight.
I lost that fight.
No, you didn't.
So now can you see how I lost it now, right? Because it all makes sense. Because I set the world record for the most punches ever landed in any time of world title boxing match. It makes sense now. Does it make sense to y'all?
You didn't
Yeah,
lose
like I
that
said,
fight. You didn't lose that fight because I remember that fight. I saw
Okay.
it and I was like, yeah, you didn't lose that fight. That was, that was politics. But
Yeah.
tell me something. After the fight that both that you and Kevin had, did y'all feel that took some time off your career? Because that was one hell of a fight, man.
well, I didn't know. I don't
Uh,
think I cared about it at the time. I didn't know. I didn't know. Like I said, remember I was up and coming. So with me, it was a based on, you know, he was like I said, because the promoters were talking like, oh, I'm knocking everybody out. No, last 7 opponents I knocked out. So I didn't know I really didn't know. I could say I didn't know what I was coming up against. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't thinking like, you're in a propel mode, you're going forward. So you're thinking about, I'm thinking, okay, he's another guy in the ring with me, and he probably could fight. I really never paid attention to his career. Because think about it. In 84, he started, with 84, he turned pro, right? As an amateur boxer, professional boxer, correct? 85.
85.
I started boxing. I started amateur boxing in 84. So I didn't turn pro until 88. So while Troy was doing this for real, I was playing. I was coming up. I was just a kid coming up. You know what I'm saying? So realistically, when you turn professional, you really don't know what's in front of you. You just feel that you got the talent that you have. I want some Golden Gloves. I want some Empire State Games. I want some amateur tournaments. And so at that point, I'm 20. Like, I'm number one in the world in the BA. So at the end of the day, I'm looking at it and I'm saying, okay, this is a true test. And I've always trained hard. So that's the one thing. I was ready for whatever came. But I never, ever expect anything like Troy to come. So, you can't get ready for that. You really can't. You gotta, it just pops up on you.
Well, you had to be ready for it. Otherwise you wouldn't have survived it. So you were
well,
ready.
I was ready. I was ready without knowing. You know what I'm saying?
If you would have trained 10% less,
yeah.
You'd have quit.
Yeah, like I said.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
I always tell people this quote. Matter of fact, HBO copied it down. I said, boxing is the only sport that tells you who you really are.
It's
the only sport that tells you. You'll find out who you are in a boxing ring.
That's absolutely true, because you can't lie in there. You cannot lie. It's gonna come out. It's gonna come out.
Yeah. He brought something out of me. I didn't know it was different. Yeah.
What you saying?
What? I said you can't. I said boxing is the only sport that pretty much when you get into them battles, right? And you're in a battle. I mean, when even when the middle of the fight, when you're throwing punches back and forth, and you're thinking to yourself, right? Why is this guy not falling down? Okay, why is this guy not falling down? And you got to continue. That's what taught me a lot of patience, and I had to be very patient in Troy Dorsey's fight. And at a young age, I had to be very patient. Remember, I got youth going against me, and I got youth going for me. So in a way, I'm a double-edged sword, because I don't have the experience that he has, right? But I have the youth. So that was the advantage that I had.
How old are you?
I'm 56 right now.
Okay. Yeah, I'm 61.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
5 years. Got 5 years experience on him. But the thing is, I don't care what kind of experience you got, what kind of whatever you have. If you don't have the inside, the guts to keep pushing forward, and then pushing forward some more. If you don't have the guts, then Kevin or I wouldn't have been here. That fight would have been different. In other words, one of us would have. But we had to dig down deep. We had to keep pushing forward and keep pushing forward and keep pushing forward. So I know the Lord was in our corner. The good Lord, Jesus Christ, He kept us from killing each other. But we were trying. We were trying.
I tell you what, I saw that fight. I was 22 years old when I saw that fight, and I was glued to the TV. But one thing I remember about you, Troy, is that you kept coming. I mean, Kevin would be landing these shots, and I'll be like, oh, okay, he's done. And you kept Kevin. You kept coming. And you had this hop, skip, step when you came in. And I said to myself that this guy is not really a boxer. He must have came from someplace else. Because, even your stance looked like you were doing martial arts. It's kind of, I kind of figured that out on my own. But you had this hop, skip kind of step when you were coming in. I don't know if you picked that up or not.
I think I jumped around a little bit, did a little more jumping. Maybe you call it hopping.
Yeah.
I call it jumping.
Yeah. That's exactly what it was. Exactly what
it wasn't.
He was on the balls of his feet.
It was a move. I should
Troy,
have been moving like I should be moving in. What are you saying?
I said Troy was on the balls of his feet. That's how you're supposed to be fighting, on the balls of his feet. He's actually doing it right.
Yeah.
The thing is, and it was amazing that, like I said, when you up and coming, you're hitting everybody, you're knocking them out. The big thing with me being lefty also is that, I know I have a punch. And he just, like, I never fought anybody in my whole career that I would hit, and while I'm hitting them, they would throw a punch at me. That was crazy. That was like, To this day, I think that's the crazy thing. Because I know I can punch, but at the end of the day, it's like, how's he hitting me while I'm throwing a punch at him? He's open. You know, I had to move my head a lot.
I had a good coach.
Yeah, I moved my head a lot. I mean, they did good work. They worked.
And that's what
that fight.
Catch and go. Catch and go.
Yeah. The commentators said about that fight, that's a world title fight. We fought a world title fight before without a world title. So that's what that fight was based upon. Because realistically, when I watched it today. You're rated number 6 in the IBF. And I was rated, I think, I don't remember, 9 or 8, somewhere around there. But I was number 1 by the BA and number 3, I think, by the BC. And I was on my way. And the thing is, like I said, you know, I look at kids today, they didn't have to deal with that. Nobody made themselves like that. I mean, I look at it today, you got it easy. I'm like, they didn't have a Troy Dorsey now. They don't have that. Okay. And the bottom line, until you have to go through something like that, you know what you're capable of doing. You don't know what you're capable of doing until you got to experience that. He actually got me ready for a lot of fights. That's why my career went so long. I retired in 2009. Imagine that. After that fight, I retired in 2009. So I got 72 pro fights. So I know what huh?
No, so, 20 years.
Yeah, so I know that
pro career was.
I had a great career. You know, I mean, I can't complain. I had a great career. Some legacy fights in it, legendary fights, and Troy's one of the fights that people don't forget. They still talk about it to this day.
I tell you what, I actually got a little tired watching your fight. So you know, so you know, how many times did y'all have to dig deep and get that second win, that third win, and just say, I got to keep pushing? Because you know, one thing I noticed about Troy is his pressure. He pressured, and you had the faster hands, and you tried to move a little bit, but he kept pressuring you and cutting down the space. So you know, you couldn't use those fast hands of yours as much as you would want to, but he kept that space, you know.
Yeah, but see, you know what was a blessing for me? Let me tell you what the blessing was. And so Troy knows this. And in the gym, right? Everybody, this was the problem with boxing. That's why I commentate fights. Because I like to explain what people are seeing. So what happens is, I was trained by a martial arts trainer too. My trainer, Phil Borgia, he's a Vietnam vet. He's a former Green Beret. So I was trained in martial arts in Jeet Kune Do. And that's why I was able to handle some of the stuff that Troy did. But the main thing was that in the gym, I spar like I fought. People don't notice because everybody used to me boxing around the ring, stick move, right? Because in a boxing match, I'm not trying to get hit with nothing. But in sparring, I don't really care. So I spar it. So actually, I was ready for that because when it came, it was like, okay, this is like the gym. So we kept doing it in the gym all the time. I do that anyway. I war with guys in the gym. But I don't really try to knock anybody out. They don't try to knock me out. It's just that we're throwing lots of punches. And so that was the epitome of throwing punches to me. And like I said, I told Troy the other day, I got a call from Nate Campbell when he fought Jojo Diaz, because Jojo Diaz still share the same style that Dorsey has. And he wanted to know, how do I beat this guy? And I had to tell him, you can't run from a guy like that. You got to fight him. And he said, what you mean? I said, he's expecting you to move and run. And you're going to get you tired, then the fight's over. I said, you got to stand in the center of that ring and go to work. And you got to throw 1,000 punches. 1,000 of them. Just keep going at him. Right? And he wound up winning the fight on Jojo Diaz. But like I said, Dorsey, styles make fights. And that was a horrific fight. I mean, my phone was ringing off the hook watching the replays today. My friend back and forth. He said, tell Troy Dorsey. I forgot. So I told him I got to do an interview today with Troy Dorsey. He said, tell Troy Dorsey he's one bad MF.
Troy, yeah, Troy. You know, how did you train for Kevin? You know, did you do anything special for Kevin, or how did you go about training for Kevin with his speed and his boxing ability?
I always train hard. I'm not trying to brag. I'm just saying I always had that brain, that mindset. Train hard. There's a saying that says train hard and fight easy, but really there's no fight easy. But I just always trained, and what I was after I won the world title in June 3rd in boxing, the IBF title, and I wanted to win another world title. So that was my reason for fighting Kevin Kelly, is because he was a contender, and it would help me set up another world title fight. So ended up losing the fight, but I got a world title boxing match in '97, and I won the IBO world title over in Denmark against Jimmy Bradal.
Oh, I remember that. I remember that fight. I watched that. I remember that.
Okay, yeah, yeah. I think the last time we spoke, Troy, you said you used to run uphill. Is that true?
I didn't run uphill necessarily, but whenever I would run uphill, I would always pay attention, and that's when I would really push it hard. Always push it hard. When you go, that's the way a fight is. To me, is a good description. Is it's an uphill battle. So the person that's going to be in the best shape usually is going to win the fight. Kevin and I were both in great shape, so it was a great fight. And if anyone he would have trained a little less, or I would have trained a little less, probably we wouldn't be able to take all the punishment that we took.
Yeah, we took that. I think both of us took that fight as a world title fight. I took it as a world title fight. Guys in New York were like, "Oh, you fighting that white boy from Texas? Oh, he gonna kick your ass." And I was like, "That's what people were telling me." And like I said, they had a great deal of respect for Troy Dorsey in New York City, and they knew who he was. He and me fighting him as a young kid. I was 26. I think I was 26 when I fought you. 26, 25, and I always tell people, like I said earlier, there's no such thing as great fights. I mean, fighters, only great fights. And you need somebody like Troy to come at you with reckless abandonment, just come right at you. Either you're going to win or you're going to lose. And at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? Or, like I said, it could have been a draw. Me personally, fights like that, nobody ever really wins a fight like that. It's a throwback, back in the day fight. I wish that the audience. I wish the audience Troy today could see a fight like that today. These guys today could fight like that today.
I haven't seen one since Gotti versus Ward.
Oh yeah.
Gotti was my sparring partner. Did you know that?
Nah. I learned something new today, brother. Yeah.
I'm the one that put Arturo Gotti on HBO. He was there to lose, not to win. This is what happened. Tracy Patterson is supposed to fight Azuma Nelson, but Lou DiBella said to me, "Kevin, I need to fight for Tracy. When you go to the gym today to spar, look around the gym and tell me who was 130." So I went to the gym to spar, and I sparred Gotti from time to time. I always sparred him because he's a big puncher. So I was like to let him punch on me a little bit, right? And because he wasn't a good boxer, but he's a good puncher. So I go to the gym after we spar. I said, Terrell, anybody around here that's 130 pounds? He goes, "Yeah, me." I said, "No, you're not," because Gotti walks around 160. So I'm like, "No way, I ain't thinking about him. He's 12-2. You know what I'm saying? I ain't thinking about for Tracy." So after when I get home, I call Lou up and I'm talking to Lou DiBella. And I said, "Lou," and how Gotti got the shot was that John Gotti was in the news at the same time. So I guess HBO felt they could intertwine it somehow and make it work. You know what I'm saying? Because Gotti was only 12-2. Right? That's all he was. He didn't have many fights. So that's how Gotti wound up fighting Tracy. And he wound up winning. Of all things, he wound up winning. It was amazing. He was crying. I was commentating that fight for Europe, and he was crying in the dressing room before the fight. Crying. I had to go see him in the dressing room. He thought Tracy was going to kill him.
Did he fight Tracy Patterson?
Huh?
Who did he fight?
Tracy Patterson.
Tracy Patterson. Okay.
And he thought, but he was in the dressing room crying because Gotti never been at that level. See, Gotti was a club fighter in New York City. He fought at the Westchester Civic Center in the Bronx, right? Under like 500 people. Nobody really paid him attention, right? And he was just a good puncher. Technically, boxing-wise, he was okay, but he was more of a puncher, right? And I used to use him to let him punch on me in the gym because if I turned it up on him, he won't last. So at the end of the day, they needed a body in there for Tracy. So Tracy get rid of the body so he could fight Azuma Nelson. So that wound up not happening because Gotti wound up winning the first fight. And then the rematch, he won again.
Yeah, but you know what? It was some funny stuff in that rematch because Tracy caught him with that body shot and they said it was a low shot.
Oh, wait, the story? Check this. Listen to this one. So I commentated both of those fights, right? Not for HBO, but for Europe, right? So in the rematch, Gotti got knocked out with a body shot. That was a low blow. So what happened was, I see it on my monitor. They don't stop the fight. They call it a low blow. So they let the fight continue, and Gotti retains the title. Tracy's career is over. He's irate. So I'm in this bar on 42nd Street over there on 42nd Street having a soda with my manager Tom Loeffler. So we're walking out, and Gotti's walking in, and I see him. I say, "Yo, Turo, I got some news to tell you, Turo. That was a body shot you got hit with. I'll never forget it. God rest his soul." He said, "Kevin, I'll take it anywhere I can get it." I'll never forget it because he got knocked out with a body shot. But they don't see. That's what boxing needs to go back to instant replays. Because if something like that happens, then we could clarify it. You know what I'm saying? So, but they didn't stop it. They just called a low blow, and that was it. And Gotti won the fight again.
Well, yeah, Kevin. You know that happened recently in the Usyk versus what's the young man's name in England? You know, the young heavyweight that he fought. He just beat, Baby Miller. What's his name?
Oh, Big Baby.
Yeah. Big Baby Miller, the one who was supposed to fight, Anthony Joshua. Then he got himself pulled up. Yeah, he beat him up. His name is Du Bois. Du Bois caught Usyk with a beautiful body shot. Yeah, but they claim it was a low shot, and they kept showing the replay like it was low, but it was right over the belt line. It was not low whatsoever at all. It was not low at all. And then after the fact is when they found out that it really wasn't a low blow. But at that point, they already gave the fight to Usyk by points. But it's the same thing with the Gotti thing all over again. It was a lovely body shot, man. But there's got to be a way for boxing to fix that.
Yeah, because to me, I look at like every sport, they go to the cameras, right? Every sport, if there's an infraction, they go to the cameras. Why is fight sports not going backwards too? Okay, I mean, for an MMA fight, a boxing match, anything. I mean, you go back and watch what happened, so nobody's getting jerked from a win, from a victory. They worked hard to be there, and then you're gonna rob and steal from them. It doesn't make sense. We in a technology era to use technology. I think boxing, if they have a question, we stop it. We go to the tape. Period.
Okay, Troy, I want to ask you. I want to ask you a question. Well, actually, this is for both of you, but this is for you, Troy. I don't know if you keep up with boxing today, but who would you say in boxing today actually kind of reminds you of you? Is there any featherweights or whoever in boxing or 130 pounders that would kind of remind you of you?
I'm sorry, I don't watch boxing. I don't watch boxing hardly at all. Pay-per-view, and I'm just not really interested in it. It's kind of boring. I'm interested in some MMA, and at the same time, I don't watch many of those fights. It's hard for me to watch because of my, I'm trying to talk my wife into helping me get a UFC fight, and I want to fight for the UFC title. But
really,
so anyway,
at what weight class? At what weight class, Troy?
Oh, I think I can make. I can make 30, 35.
You know what I would like to see, but it's too late to see that now. You against who's one of the guys I used to like? Uriah Grant. Remember Uriah Grant?
I don't think I saw him.
Yeah, he was kind of a helter-skelter guy. He would jump on your back and choke you out, and he was the California Kid that they called him. Yeah, he's one of those guys. Very, very busy fighter. Very busy.
Oh yeah.
The California Kid is one of my favorite fighters. Yeah, I like him.
He was busy. He was a busy fighter. He kind of reminded me. Yeah,
I like him.
He kind of reminded me like a Johnny Tapia for some reason. I don't know why.
A lot of guys, like I said, I like him. I watch MMA from time to time. What's funny is I had tickets for UFC fights because Dana White's married. That's my ex-wife's cousin, Dana White. I was there when he signed the UFC up. It's here in Vegas. That's why it's located in Vegas. When it was Dana's idea to sign him. The Petitas financed the whole thing. So they're billionaires, so they got the money to finance the thing. And then they sold it to China. So China owns UFC right now. So at the end of the day, we train in Vegas. We train with UFC guys a lot of times at the same gym. We have a boxing ring. We have a cage. Roy Jones had a gym in Vegas with a boxing ring and a cage. I talk to Forrest Griffins from time to time. Different guys. I have a strike back machine that Troy might like. I'm sure I can show it to you. It's in my garage right now, but it strikes your back. So we've been doing I'll say what was appearances with it at certain places for kicking and punching. I was at the UFC already with the machine, and the first one is sold to you can look at it online. It's called Strike Back. My company's called Strike Back. Yes, Strike Back System. Yes, your system has got a system in it. Strike Back System. You can watch some videos I got online. Even go on YouTube or go on my go on YouTube, go on my Instagram, Plush and Flash 67, and you can see the machine, hitting the machine, stuff like that. So that's the good part about it. So like I said, just try and take things to the millennial level. I know Troy's training kids up and coming, right, Troy? I know you got some kids up and coming, probably some next warriors.
I'm training some and some adults. Yeah, I train lots of. We have our school is about 35% adults and 65% kids. We have about 180 students. So,
wow.
Yes, sir.
But is anybody going to compete?
That was my question.
Yeah, I've got a guy competing in Amarillo. He's 1-1 in MMA. He's competing in April. No, when is it? It's in April sometime. I haven't memorized the date yet, of course. But anyways, he's got a little 3-round fight signed up.
I got a question for you, Troy. How many styles of martial arts do you actually know?
I got my black belt in jiu-jitsu. Got my American karate. I'm a black belt in Troy Dorsey kickboxing organization. You see this shirt I got on? We help school owners teach. We have a system so they can follow the curriculum, kickboxing and boxing curriculum, and then we also have a business system. And 2 of our guys last year made over $1 million.
Wow. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Well, you definitely got to speak about that as the show goes on. Now, how many years do you have training as far as martial arts and boxing? How many years?
In martial arts, I started June 1974. So this is my 70th year. I'm sorry, 50th year.
Yeah. Because I was 3 then in 74. So yeah, it can't be.
Yeah.
I think I was 6 or 7. Like I said, so that's what I told. But
men, women, and children about setting goals, how to set a goal, not just talk about it. We talk to them about how you set a goal, about respect, about self-control, about discipline, about living a clean life, no drugs and no alcohol. So it's much more than just kicking and punching. Every month, every 6 weeks, we have a rotating curriculum. We rotate the curriculum in 6 weeks. And also we have a life lesson. So like I said, talking about doing your best or being disciplined. Discipline, you know what discipline means? It means only being told once.
Yep.
Yeah. Our country is missing discipline. Work hard ethic and doing it. Whether you have to tell yourself or somebody else tell you, but only being told once. That's it.
Yeah. It's like when I go in the gym, I'm glad me and Troy are working. I work with the kids. Like usually right about now, I'll be headed to the gym. It's about maybe less than a mile from my house. And the one thing that kids don't have today is discipline. And the problem is, and when I tell them, don't let me come in here tomorrow and see y'all doing the same thing again. And like I said, discipline is very simple. It's doing something like you like it, but you hate it. Okay, over and over and over. Doing like you love it, adopting it, saying, you know what, I might not like it, but I gotta do this over and over. Of course, you only get one time to really do it right. And you gotta do it right every single time. And that's the discipline that I came from with Phil. If I wasn't disciplined in the gym, he made me clean the bathroom, wash the gym floors. So discipline is a very key part in fighting sports. Definitely in all sports, really. Basketball, baseball, if you're golfing, you gotta have discipline.
Yeah, that sounds like a story that I heard from Tommy Brooks. He said he trained under Archie Moore, right? And he said Archie would have him doing the dishes. Yeah, would have him doing the dishes. But now, Kevin, who was your trainer? How many champs does he have under his belt? And the same question for you, Troy.
Well, Phil Borgia was my trainer, former Vietnam vet. He had me, and he had this fighter named Gilio Tor, who was from Holland. And I was his first world champion. He refused to train other fighters. I don't know why. he felt that because he was military, it's very hard with him because being his military, he believes in the discipline part, and that's the main thing. He said, "Your life's in my hands. You have to be able to listen to me. If you're not disciplined, I can't train you." So I knew right there that for me, in order for him to train me, I had to be very, very disciplined. What about you, Troy?
Yeah, Troy. The same question to you.
My karate instructor, Jim Choate, we enrolled in martial arts, me and my two brothers, Brian and Rodney. We enrolled in 74, 79, I started kickboxing. 81, I got my first pro fight. 83, I left my instructor and started going to a boxing gym and working with Casey Malone. He passed away maybe 5 years ago, and his wife passed away like a year after that or 2 years after, something like it was really horrible. But anyways, I owe so much to Casey, and we trained at Gorman's Gym, as I was saying, with Don Curry and Gene Hatcher. You get to train I got to train with Gene Hatcher and Steve Cruz. Those guys were both world champions. And I was sparring with them, and I helped them. I feel like, especially Steve Cruz, win the world title when he fought Barry McGuigan at Caesar's Palace back in June of 90. Well, no, it was 80 in the 80s. So yeah, I had lots of people supporting me and helping me and teaching me, and also I had my wife. If it wouldn't have been for my wife, Leslie, I wouldn't be the champion. I wouldn't be where I'm at right now, because she always supported me, even though I got busted up. I know have you seen many of my fights? Oh, I got busted up, cut up, and I just kept on going. But I know that's very hard. I know I've watched my brothers, both of them, they fought, did some, my young middle brother, Brian, did some boxing, pro boxing, and he got busted up and cut up. But so it's hard. It's very, very hard. It was easier for me in the ring than it was for my wife out of the ring. After seeing my
yeah. So that's true. That's the truth.
Yeah. Okay. Now, do you have any children in boxing, Kevin? And you, Troy, do you have any children that's doing martial arts or boxing?
Yes, we have. I have about 50. 50.
No. I'm talking about I'm talking about your biological children.
Oh, I have two daughters who never won a box. Thank God for that. My oldest daughter, 35, Kendra. I have a daughter, 30. Kendra has the two grandsons. We've got Lorenzo and Cruz, and her husband Kyle. Bring those little jewel creations into this earth. 2.5 years ago, we got one that's a little over 2.5, and one that's was born in April last year. So we're coming up on a year for little Cruz. And then my youngest daughter has a little girl, Olivia. She's married to Josh Taryn, and it's just having these little creations. They're just unbelievable. The love that you can have. I mean, I'm about to start crying because this is just the relationship, and having grandkids is such a great thing. I know that I'm more mature than I was when I had my kids. I'm more mature, but it's just unbelievable to be able to hold those kids and see those little creations, and they're just that's the light of my life for sure.
Yeah. Same thing with me. I got eight children. I was married twice. I got my oldest child is 34 years old. They're very successful kids. My one son is sells marijuana in Vegas. He's a dispensary. My one daughter works for Amazon. My other daughter is a phlebotomist, and my other daughter is a massage therapist. So, and she's the best in Vegas, by the way. So then I got like Troy. I got grandkids now. So I got 5 grandkids. My oldest grandson plays basketball. He's very good at basketball. My youngest son, which is 11, I think seen him running around here. He's 11. He's a 2-time state champion of football right now in 10U. So he won 2. So he's doing pretty good. I give him credit. And he loves football. He loves football. And like when I'm done with you guys, I'm gonna be taking him to the boxing gym, because I take him to the boxing gym every Monday, and I take him Wednesday, because those are the days he's not playing football. So I try to implement that, because I train Ocho Cinco. So when I trained him, I figured that boxing training is good for football. So you're gifted when you got people interested in things that really are positive moving forward. I say, I love the idea of transforming the energy that me and Troy Dorsey had back then to the current kids, and let them know, we have to do it the hard way so they make it easier for them. And that's the difference. That's different. That's like my trainer. My trainer studied Wing Chun and Shotokan, and he's a master at that. And I use that Wing Chun and Shotokan for my whole boxing career. And Troy knows what I'm
How did
talking
that
about.
help you out? How did that help you out in boxing, Kevin?
Well, Wing Chun and Shotokan, and I did long arm Tai Chi, short arm Tai Chi. I did a lot of that, and I told Troy before the fight. We had a conversation. I said I'm martial arts too. I even sparred a lot with Paul Vizio, and what it did for me was I wasn't really. I would say I was more martial artist than boxer, because I didn't. If you look at me, my stance when I fought Troy, I stand more like I'm going to kick than I'm going to punch. So nobody ever really picked that up. I just figured Troy would see that. That's why I told him. I said, "You're a martial artist," and I told him that. And I just sparred with Paul Vizio, kickboxing with him. Troy knows Paul Vizio, and and I just sparred with him. I actually kickboxed with him. And the thing is, Phil wanted me not just to be a boxer; he wanted me to be a fighter. Whether I was doing martial arts, whether I was doing boxing, whether I was whatever style I'm doing, he wanted me to be a total, complete fighter. So, I kick just like I punch. So end of the day, I learned so much, and it was great to be in the ring with Troy Dorsey because he's the first man to do that, to win a championship in boxing and in martial arts. So that was a great, to me, festivity to have something like that on my roster. That was a great thing.
Okay, now I just had a question too. See, that's what happens as you get older. But both of you are okay. Troy, you said you're 61. Kevin, you're 50 plus. How do you stay in shape, man? Because both of you look, yeah, you're actually 3 years younger than me. Both of you look like you're in pretty great shape. How do you stay in shape at this point in life? Because you see a lot of older boxers, they let themselves go. But how do you stay in shape?
Go ahead, Kevin.
Well, me, I got 11-year-old, and I got to stay in shape for him. He's 11 years old. He's playing football. So when he's playing football, I'm jumping rope. I go to the boxing gym. After I talk to you guys, I'll be at the boxing gym. I'll be training with the kids. So at the end of the day, I understand my allocation, what I'm allocated to, and you got to stay in shape. You just can't. A lot of fighters get lazy because the discipline of staying in shape is hard, and the respect part, is hard. So at the end of the day, they don't want to do that no more. I did that for years. I don't want to do it no more. I want to just eat whatever I want to eat and do it. So end of the day, it's just staying dedicated. I gotta stay dedicated because I got grandkids that are 9 years old and 7. So I want to be able to play with them and stay in shape for them.
And Troy,
what about you?
I was doing jiu-jitsu for many years under Travis Luter. He's a former UFC fighter. Anyways, I did jiu-jitsu. It took me 12 years to get my black belt. So I love doing that. But right now I'm having problems with my hips. My left hip, I'm going to have hip replacement surgery. I think it's just from so many kicks. So I'll have surgery sometime in the future, in the next month or two. And then I will get back to doing some running and some kicking for sure. I haven't kicked with my left leg in it's been a year and a half. No, it's been a year and a half or two. Anyways, I got to get this hip replaced. It's no fun trying to get up, or right now it hurts. Sitting, I can just feel it. It's not, it's not killing me, but it hurts. So
Troy, I got a question for you. It just popped in my head. You talking about martial arts and all. Zab Judah's father was a world champion too, wasn't he? I'm not sure.
Yeah, Joel Judah.
Yeah,
Joel Judah.
Joel Judah. You ever heard of him?
I have, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You ever fight him?
I did not. I think he was a little heavier than me.
Okay.
I think he's like 35, 40, something like that. I believe, yes, sir.
Okay, I believe he fought Paul. I think he fought Paul Vizio. Vizio's out of Jersey. He's got his own dojo too, like Troy does. He got his own dojo, and he trains kids. And I got another martial arts friend. Most of my guys actually that hang around me and we talk to as martial artists. I don't know if you know Sugar Ray Croson. They call him Sugaroo Jiu-Jitsu. He got his own form of jiu-jitsu. He's
familiar.
He's on Instagram. He's doing amazing. He's an 8th degree black belt. He's another guy that I dealt with. I still talk to him from time to time, and he got his own jiu-jitsu style. It's called Sugaroo Jiu-Jitsu. And he actually is old enough. I think he's like 70-something years old, and he still does seminars. An amazing fighter. He fought in the Garden. He did some good stuff back then. You can watch videos of him, look him up on the internet. Sugaroo Jiu-Jitsu, Sugar Ray Croson. Marshall. So, like I said, me and Dorsey got that in common. That's one thing that me and Dorsey got in common. It's huge. That's why I had the greatest respect for him as a fighter. And to transfer over to different styles. And that's what real MMA is. It's being able to compete competitively in other styles. And he does that very well. That's the key.
Okay, now I got a question for both of y'all. What was that one big fight that got away from you in your career? I mean, did you ever have a chance to fight like an Azuma Nelson or somebody like that, or somebody? What was that one big fight that just slipped through your fingers? You know, in your career.
That we fought?
No. You had a chance to fight. Let's say you had a chance to fight, like in a Azuma or a Tapia or somebody like that. Did you ever have a chance to fight somebody like of that magnitude and it just slipped through your fingers?
I fought 14. Of course, you don't know. Well, I don't know why I said that. I fought 14 world champions. There were 14 world champions. They either became a world title after I fought them, they were a world title, and they lost it, something like that. So I fought 14 world champions. I had lots of competitive guys. Very. Yes, sir.
Yeah, me. The hard part with me, I had a hard career because my career is very difficult because I couldn't get guys to fight me. That was the problem. So end of the day, I wanted to unify with Charm Johnson, and then Junior Jones started talking about me. He's a good friend of mine. I wanted to fight a Terrell Gotti. But they wouldn't fight me because I'm a lefty. So I'm glad Troy wasn't nervous about the left hand in this. So everybody, the hardest part for me was actually wait until they get a world title fight until I was 36-0. Nobody, it was crazy. I was about to retire. So, if it wasn't for Lou DiBella and HBO, I would have quit because I was done with, after the Dorsey fight, I had to fight 10 more times to get a title shot. That's unheard of. That's unheard of.
Really?
So,
how many years was that? Was that 2 years or 1 year it took you to get a title shot?
No, more than that. It took me over 4 or 5 because I turned pro in 88. I didn't get a world title shot till 93.
You fought me in 92.
Yeah, you did.
And listen to this. So I fought you in 92, right? I had 10 fights, and by the time it was crazy. That's crazy. That's 9 fights. I was 26-0. Yeah, 36-0. I had 10 fights.
When did you win your world title? Who'd you fight?
1993. I fought Goyo Vargas. And he wasn't going to fight me. And he wasn't going to fight me either. I was the first featherweight fight since Salvador Sanchez on HBO.
That's a blast from the past right there.
So what happened was, this is a funny story. I wasn't going to get that shot unless somebody was getting a lot of money because I was a lefty. Nobody wanted to fight me. That's why I was so willing to fight Troy. I was like, man, he actually accepted to fight me. So I was a lefty. And most guys don't like left-handed fighters. They don't like us. They just don't like us. And Junior Jones was one. Even Tracy Patterson. People always ask me, how come these guys are New Yorkers and they never fought you? Because I'm lefty, okay? And they don't want to fight a lefty. So it was very, very difficult in a journey. But when I got on HBO, I was the only one on HBO. So I grabbed the Terrell Gotti, put him on. I put Junior Jones on, Tracy Patterson. But I put them on to fight me, not just put them on. But they didn't want to fight me when I got on. It was horrible. It was like I said, I had the experience where, I was trying to create something that wasn't there, that didn't exist. And I felt underpaid, of course, because, the way TV looked at it was that nobody wants to see lightweights. That's not true. That's not true.
Absolutely.
And everybody, if you see all the articles about me, Kevin Kelly goes against the heavyweights. They put me against Lance Lewis. That's why when you saw the fight with the car with me and Lance Lewis on it, I was going against him. when I fought a card with I think it was not Riddick Bowe. Who else? A few heavyweights. James Toney, whoever I was on cards with, I was always going against them. But I wasn't doing that. That was the media doing that because I was just trying to prove to the world, to the media, I'm not media, to corporate moguls, that people don't care what size you are. They just care if you put a great fight on. They want a great fight. That's what the public wants. They want a great fight. But at the end of the day, lightweights put on great fights. A heavyweight can do that, but lightweights mostly do that. That mostly goes. I told everybody, Sugar Ray wasn't a heavyweight. I mean, all these guys, like even the Mongoose. Okay?
Michael Carbajal.
No, the Mongoose. I'm talking back. Archie Moore. He wasn't like a heavyweight either. Carbajal was a heavyweight. Then these guys are heavyweights. And Carbajal's from my era. He turned pro and I turned pro. He's from the '88 squad. So that's how you look at this whole thing. That I was not just there for boxing. I was there to create the lightweight sensation. That's what it turned into for HBO. That's what happened with HBO, and I'm glad I left a legacy behind. Now HBO's out the game, but that's what it turned into for me. That's something that I didn't plan on. I was just planning on becoming a world champion, being on HBO, and that was it. But I had to. It was crazy. Building these lightweights up it was hard, and they always put me in that picture. So it worked out. It worked out. It eventually did work out.
Now I got a question for y'all, which everybody was asking for years. Why no rematch?
I don't know. We should have had one. It's not too late, is it?
Yeah, right? Listen. I believe, like I said, I do remember after Troy fought me, he fought De La Hoya. And I remember the fight with De La Hoya. He got a cut. And it was like I think Troy, he got cut in my fight too. So I believe the wear and tear on Troy's body was betraying him now. That's what happens sometimes. And it was just never talked about. It never came up into conversation because I was trying to go for the world title, I guess. And it wasn't like, it would have been great, but I never thought about it. I was glad to get away from that. I think personally, if they said a rematch, I probably would have said after I win a world title. I got to win a world title first. I wouldn't have fought him until I won a world title because of the rematch because I thought that was an obstacle I had to overcome and I would have kept moving. You know what I'm saying? I would have gave Troy a title shot. You know what I'm saying? I would have given him a title shot if it was asked about me, but it wasn't. I was trying to unify the titles. I was trying to fight Tom Johnson and Elio Rojas, all these guys and unify, but there was nobody fighting.
Did you beat Gotti?
Gotti was my sparring partner. He wouldn't get a ring with me either.
Oh,
Gotti. No, okay. Gotti was my sparring partner. Gotti was a guy. Okay. Gotti's a club fighter. He's a club fighter. Gotti's the kind of guy, Rock'em Sock'em Robot. Realistically, he don't like lefties either. So he would have never fought me as a lefty. No.
Yeah. So you sparred him at what, 130, Kevin, or was it?
He was no. I was a featherweight. He was 130.
Okay, he was 130.
So he was 130, but I didn't know that. I thought he was 160.
But yeah, because he walked around about 30 pounds heavier after fights or something, right?
No, because he was a big guy, and I was fighting featherweight at the time, and Gotti's a fight at a place called the Westchester Civic Center. Gotti lost to a guy named King Solomon. Gotti was he is Rocky. Gotti is Rocky. Let me tell you something. He's the Rocky of all Rockies because he was a good puncher.
Yeah.
But getting there, he had no way really to get there. He wasn't a concept. You know what I'm saying? He was a decent fighter, but at best, I think just a great puncher, a really good puncher.
That's until
other than that, like I said, other than that, he had no concept with it. I mean, I just fought him in the ring. It wasn't that hard for me. I should let him punch on me so I get used to getting punched once in a while. Because you know what I'm saying? And he punches hard. He's bigger than me. He's a much bigger guy. So that's how. So and it worked out for me. I don't think I sparred Gotti for Troy Dorsey though. With Troy Dorsey, I'm trying to think of who I sparred with for Dorsey. I can't remember who I sparred with. It was in Dorsey though. But so You have to go backwards for just go forward sometimes. And
Okay, well,
Dorsey reminded me of my amateur days. That's what he
hey,
reminded me of. Throwing lots of punches, lots of punches, lots of punches.
all right. Well, I'll tell you what, we're coming up on the hour mark, so I'm going to ask you, gentlemen, to give out any social media you might want to have, and then I want you to speak on, something that that those who are listening that are in the business should know about, how to manage your money, and how to avoid some of the, evils of boxing, some of the pitfalls that we know boxers fall into. So, if you want to give your social media out, then you want to tell about how to avoid some, some of the evils of boxing, like how there's so many fighters that end up broke or end up with a bad promoter, bad manager, and things like that. But go ahead and give your social media and then speak on the other thing.
Go ahead, Kevin.
Okay. You can follow me on Flush and Flash 67 on Instagram. I got a show also on Instagram called The Sucker Punch Show. Troy, I want you to follow that too. I got 50,000 followers on that. Pretty much. So those two things, Flush and Flash 67 on Instagram and The Sucker Punch Show. Some of the pitfalls in boxing, like I said, I love boxing. I always tell people, but I hate the business. These days, guys got a little more leverage because these days they're opening promotional companies now. They're promoting themselves. They make a lot more money in boxing today than we ever did. I mean, that's why I believe some MMA guys are coming over to our sport because there's a lot more money in boxing than it is in MMA. So I would recommend definitely learn the sport. Get an old school trainer and that to give you some good instructions on what was. And because a lot of guys today don't do the basics. They don't know how to slip no more punches. They got their chin in the air. Nobody moves their head anymore. So I see a lot of things when I'm commentating that fighters today are not doing. And sports not dying, it's getting bigger. I always tell people it's getting bigger. They would say no, it's not. It's more global than it's ever been because many years ago, most of the champions were American. These days, most of the champions are foreign. So really, really, really enjoy the sport for what it is. And there's a lot of new young talent to watch out for. All right, Troy, it's yours.
Yes, sir. Okay, well, what was the first question, sir? Tell me how
Okay.
All right. How to get you on social media.
Yeah, the first question was about your social media, yeah. And then how to avoid like the evils in boxing, like the pitfalls, bad promoters, bad management.
Okay. You can contact me on Facebook. So I'm kind of slow on that, so be patient with him. But yeah, Troy Dorsey, Facebook page. Welcome to contact me there. And if you're young and you want to be a fighter, get ready for some tough training, and you just got to put the work in. A lot of people aren't willing to put the work in, and now I'm not saying we have a lazy generation of people growing up, but it seems like there's a lot of laziness going on. So we got to, and I know I can be lazy at times for sure. So we just all got to get off our rear ends and get in and take care of your body, take care of yourself, and train hard. You can't. There's some crazy ways to train nowadays with all the technology. So right now, so much is out there if you've got a dream to be a world champion, don't let anybody slow you down. Don't let anybody tell you can't do it. I don't know how many people told me I couldn't switch to boxing. I don't know how many. I don't remember, but there were several people, a lot of people that said, "How can you do it? You can't do that. You can't. You're a kickboxer. You're a karate guy." So I ended up winning the world title after I fought Jorge Paz twice. Once was a split decision I lost. The other was a draw. The next year I fought for the world title, knocked out Alfred Ron Hale in 2 minutes and 37 seconds in the first round. For my first world title in kickboxing, actually for 12 rounds, I lost. So at first you don't succeed, what do?
Try again.
Keep moving and try again. So, and I don't care what it is. If it's something that you have, maybe you don't want to be a fighter. You want to be an attorney. You want to be a doctor. You want to be a grocery worker. Whatever it is you do, I want to encourage whatever it is you're doing, put your all into it. Don't give half, give 100%, not percent, 100%. That means go with it with all your might and to succeed. If you listen to the people that or around you. You want to have good people around you, but don't let anyone pull you back or
Right.
damage or I can't even think of the words. Don't let someone stop you from reaching your goals. Write your goal down. Write it down. Put it on a piece of. Put it on your bathroom mirror. This is my goal, and you got to. You don't want to just say my goal is to make 50 cents more an hour at work. No, your goal is to be the owner of a company. Your goal is to be the manager of a company. Your goal is to be a president of a company, or your goal is to be a great English teacher, or a great math teacher, or a great. There's so many things that you can do here in America. This is the land of the free, and so I say tackle your biggest dream, and don't give up on yourself. Keep telling yourself you can do it. You can do it. You can do it. If it would have been for some of the people, I've got a lot of great fans, but there's some people that said no, you couldn't do it. Can't be a kickboxing champion. You can't be a this. But yes, I've won 8 world titles. I won 5 in kickboxing. I won 1 in uh, light contact karate, point karate, and I won 2 world titles in boxing. So, and none of it was because of talent. I didn't have the talent. I wasn't born with talent. I had 2 feet.
Okay.
So, all,
Okay. Now, Troy, did you ever train any actors, like, to do movies or anything like that? Like, say, because you see a lot of these movies where actors are doing martial arts. You ever train any actors?
yes, I trained Chuck Norris. You didn't know that?
Chuck is a Chuck is
I'm
you did.
joking. I
No,
didn't.
you mean you work with him, or you trained him as far as what?
I didn't finish the sentence. I trained
Yeah.
his son. I trained Chuck Norris's son.
Okay, I got you. I got you. I
Yeah.
got you. Yeah.
So yeah, he asked me. I the last time that I saw him, asked me if I'd come to his house and train his son. So my wife and I, a couple of weeks later, maybe 6 weeks later, we went down there and trained his son. And so yeah, that's probably the most famous person that ever trained is Chuck Norris's son. So
Yeah.
I think Chuck Norris is the second most famous martial artist. We got Bruce Lee. I'm not sure why Bruce Lee wasn't a fighter and didn't like fighting. And Bob Wall was my kickboxing manager, and he was the Enter the Dragon with the blood on his face and
Yeah.
the movie name of the movie or whatever. Anyways, yeah. So Chuck Norris, true world champion, and a guy that has he has integrity. So that's what you got to do. If you want to fight, you find somebody with some integrity, and keep your integrity too. This integrity in this country is just slipping away, slipping away. You can't trust anybody. So
Absolutely.
just back,
Absolutely.
just bring this country back the way it should be. And how we do
Yeah.
that is one integrity at a time, one discipline at a time, one smart move at a time, one risk at a time.
Yep.
Well, thank you. You know what? I'm glad you said that because I'm gonna give my take real quick. Then I'm gonna wish you. Then I'm gonna thank you, Jennifer, for coming out. Boxing nowadays is not sold. It's not sold to the public. There's no, Saturday afternoon fights. There's no Tuesday night fights. There's no Friday night fights. So how do the fans get to know the fighters? They got to buy pay per
Yeah.
view. That's the difference
Yep.
nowadays because we had all these outlets.
USA.
Boxing used to be on the same level as the World Series. Well, the big fights I'm talking about. It'd be on the same level as the World Series or the Super Bowl, depending on who's fighting. But nowadays, boxing has no clear cut face of boxing. You could put together a card, but there's no face of boxing because fighters are not being built or taught how to actually come up like that and be a fighter and actually be an entertainer at the same time. You take like a Sugar Ray, he was both. Ali was
Yeah.
both. Even guys
Yeah.
like Tommy Hearns and Hagler,
For
they
both.
they were both, but in their own way, they kept it real to themselves. They were real strong men. James Tony had it. James Tony had it
Yeah.
when he was coming up. Yeah, because when you watch him fight, you was gonna see something. You watch Julian Jackson fight, you was gonna see something. You watch Kevin fight, you was gonna see something. When you watch Troy fight, it was gonna be exhausting. You was gonna see something, right? So you don't see that anymore, and that's what takes away from the sport. Because you know how many fighters I've had on the show, and they said fighters and world class trainers like, I don't watch boxing no more. They just don't have the passion for it because the
Yeah.
passion is not there anymore. It's not.
Well, one thing, the one guy that I see that's remind me of Troy a lot is the Pitbull. You know what I'm talking about? Torres, the Pitbull.
Yeah. He fought Tank, right?
Yeah, he reminded me a lot like Troy, but he's not at the level of Troy. I mean, he's somewhat attempting to do that,
He
attempting
doesn't
to do
pressure
it.
enough. Doesn't
Yeah.
pressure enough.
Like I said, but he comes, in, he comes. Like I said, he's dangerous. The guys I like today, um, and I watch him. It's Crawford, of course. I think
Right.
Crawford's underserved. Um, I like him a lot. Boots, I like a little bit too. I also like,
He's improving. He's improving,
yeah,
man.
like I said, it's a matter of these guys together. The problem is, let everybody wants to be the A card. Nobody wants to be the C card. So no, the guys won't fight each other. They're too business mind oriented. Instead of being fighters, they're business mind oriented. So the thing is, they're not looking to put it on the line. They're thinking about what they got to lose instead of what they got to gain. So the public
Exactly.
loses out.
Exactly. You know what? And Kevin, beautiful, man, because nobody wants to take that shot. Nobody wants to take any seconds with a
Rick,
chance to move up to first. You
no,
understand what I'm saying? You have to take a short sometime to get that championship fight, and after you win it, then you can get back those things you said that you felt like you lost. Now, I want to ask you both about a fight that you may or may not know about. David Morrell fights at 168. Have you heard that name?
Yeah, I know
Have
of
you
him.
seen him fight?
I've seen
I
him
haven't
fight one
heard
time.
him.
One time.
What do you think about him, Kevin? What do you think about? Because everybody's saying he's the next big thing. I'm like, he only has 9 fights. Give the young man a chance to grow.
People. This is the problem with the public. When Roger Mayweather used to always say they don't know nothing about boxing, he's 100% correct.
No, he said they don't know shit about boxing. You
Yeah,
trust?
I try to be clean. I try to
Yeah,
be clean with it. But
yeah.
the bottom line is this: don't give him the title if he hasn't earned it yet. So at the
Hmm.
end of the day, it's a lot of, I call it projection. Everybody has potential. Troy, everybody that walks in your gym got potential. Am I correct? They all got potential, but what they put behind it, that's what makes it work. Everybody got potential, right? So I don't give him the flowers right away. He's got to earn it. He's got to
Thank you.
earn it. He's
Thank
got to
you.
earn it. Why would you give him flowers when he hasn't earned it yet? Doesn't make a sense. Doesn't make. Oh, he's the next hot thing. Okay, at Belanga, right? They said the same thing about Belanga, right? It's a slow
Hmm.
move, right? He knocking everybody out. Okay, let a guy earn his flowers first before you start giving him the proceeds. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
That's the problem today. And then people get let down. The public get let down. Oh, I'm not watching boxing no more. So the whole game takes a hit because they put all their money on you, and you got beat. So now everybody's don't want to watch boxing no more. So the sport suffers. Not good.
Not good at all. But yeah, you have any thoughts on that, Troy? Before I close out the show?
Yeah, it's pretty much just a zoo out there, I guess, right? So yeah, people got to get in there and fight, show some guts and show some integrity and do what you can. Like we haven't named uh, Julio Cesar Chavez. He did a lot for boxing. Yeah, he was really a great fighter. And when you watch him, yeah, he would do some boxing, but he also did some inside close boxing and fighting. Yeah, he was really really good. So on my end, I just want to thank you for having me on the show again, Troy Graham. I really appreciate it, and
Anytime.
I want to thank my Lord Jesus Christ for bringing me to where I am
Yes.
right now. He's got me
Yes.
exactly where I wants me, and I hope I'm exactly where he wants me to be. I'm trying to be the best man that I can be, best husband, best wife. No, not wife. I'm not a wife. Best husband and best dad and best grandkid, and also
Yes.
still be a good kid from up. They're both still alive. So yeah, I've been blessed with so many great things,
Yes.
and most of the great things are my family, like my wife Leslie. If it wouldn't been for her, I probably wouldn't have fought Kevin Kelly. So she might have paid you some money. Maybe you paid her underneath the table. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank both you gentlemen for your time, man. I really and truly enjoyed the show because I got a way of starting off the show, but Kevin jumped right in there and just run with it, and I didn't want to stop him. It just started, and we just kept going. There was no breaks or anything. I didn't have to really prompt anybody like, okay, well, it's your turn to talk, right? I didn't have to do none of that, right? I
Yeah.
just really, I just
God
like the
bless. God
show,
bless.
man. It was a pleasure talking to both of you, and it's good to see both of y'all in great health. And you know me, I'll keep in touch. I'll keep in touch with both of y'all. So thank you Thank you for coming out. I really appreciate
One
it.
more
Thank
thing.
you.
One more thing.
Okay.
When do we fight, Kevin? February what? 1992.
18th. 18th.
February 8th.
18th, 1992. Yep.
You like
All
me? I
right.
forgot
Okay.
the date too. I just know it's February. I just know it's February. That's all I know.
I did my research, but I did my research before the show started. I did my research. Yeah.
So, Troy, happy anniversary.
Yeah. 30, yeah, it's actually 32 years later. 32 years later.
Yeah,
32
it's
years
been a
later.
great
Happy
22 years.
anniversary.
Yeah.
I'll never forget it.
Oh, me neither.
I bet
And
you
if you
won't.
forget it, and check it out. If you do forget it, it's on YouTube now, so you can watch it. So,
Oh.
I tell all your viewers, watch that box. To watch it. It's amazing. It's amazing. It truly is amazing.
I'm gonna save it this time, but if I can't find it though, I'm calling you so you can
No,
send
it's
it to
on.
me.
It's
Right?
on now. It's on. I see it today.
Okay. Okay.
Let me tell you something. I sweat when I watch the replays of it. I seriously sweat. I sweat, and it's crazy. And then sometimes I forget that that's me, and I forget that I'm watching me fight, and I think that's recorded. I'm watching like a boxer match. I'm like, oh my God, you see that right there? It's crazy.
Okay,
It's
you
crazy.
know, one last question before I really shut it down. How close would you say the Gotti Ward fight was to your fight? Just for pure intensity and just nonstop, action and everything. How close is that to your fight? Or is it on the same level?
With Gotti Ward, both of them went down. With me and Dorsey, nobody went down. So it was like a battle stand up. Okay. And that's the difference. I mean, both fights were brutal. Don't get me wrong. Both of them are brutal.
It was 3 of them, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they both fights are brutal. I just think that me and Dorsey's fight was all 3 of those fights in one shot.
Yeah, yeah. I was gonna say that. Yeah,
The intensity, the intensity was at a peak. Buddy McGirt, you see him on camera. Buddy McGirt was screaming. That women were passing out. I mean, the audience was going nuts in that room. I mean, Troy didn't even understand. Those are New Yorkers that were passing out in New York. Like, this was barbaric. So our fight was more barbaric. It was like nothing he's ever seen before. I mean, I tell everybody, any viewer watching, watch the fight. It's on YouTube right now. You can watch it. And let me explain something to you. You're going to be surprised that me and Troy Dorsey on the same. We could talk today from after that fight.
I'm going to see if they raise my hand tonight.
Oh my goodness, man! Oh, amazing. Like I said, I would have no problem, with rematches or anything. I never thought about it. Nobody ever approached me about it. It was kind of weird. Nobody ever said anything about that until later on in my career. You and Troy, a good rematch. And I was like, you know what I'm saying? I think that's a tough act to follow. With me and Troy, both of us, that's a tough act to follow.
I wouldn't want to come after you. I would not want to come after you. But gentlemen, once again, thank you very much. Thank you very, very much. I'm gonna go ahead and shut it down. I kept you for an hour and going on 15 minutes now. So thank you for your time. I appreciate it. And on top of all that, we all on different times too. I'm on East Coast time. Kevin's on West, and you're on, I forgot what time.
Midwest. He's Midwest. He's 2 hours ahead of me. I'm at 6:20. He's at 8:20. You're at 9:20.
9:20, exactly. Yeah. So we all on different time zones. Just truly a blessing. So thank you, gentlemen. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having us. I really appreciate you.
All right. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. Wow, man. I like that. All right, Troy. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Talk soon. Bye-bye.
All right. I enjoyed this one. I definitely enjoyed this one. I enjoy them all, actually. I enjoy them all. Hold on a second. Yeah, definitely. That was Kevin Kelly calling saying he wants me to copy of the show. That's actually a done deal. I'll send you a copy as well, Troy.
Yeah, okay, so thank you so much. Appreciate it.
All right, thank you. All right. So yeah, this is I enjoy it, man. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that. I got a way of jumping off things once I get on here. I like for them to give a little quick bio of who they are so you can get introduced to them, and then we just get into the questions and just let it flow, see where it goes, because that's how I know what questions to ask and so forth and so on. But Kevin came right out and was like, boom. He came out the gates running. It was beautiful, man. So when you do this, because I'm not a journalist, right? I don't play one on YouTube either, right? I'm not a journalist. I didn't go to school to be a journalist. Uh, you gotta just stay on your toes. You gotta be very flexible, and you gotta have a little gift of gab. So that's what I have. And most importantly, don't ever come in here and not do your research first. Don't say, well, because I know such and such, such and such, you're gonna come in here and do you no. You're gonna do everybody injustice. That's why you see me being able to just, no matter how the show goes, I can just flow. Because I do my research. I go and study, I have conversations, I verify everything. And when I come in here, I'm like, I'm fine. I'm good. You're not going to, even if it's one of those folks that answer questions in just single sentence answers, like if you ask them, so what is your toughest fight? Well, my toughest fight was this guy. And then he just get quiet. But you have to know what to do at that point. These two gentlemen were just great. Kevin Kelly and Troy Dorsey. Who else could say that they bringing you that besides the Troy Graham experience? Huh? Hence the name, the Troy Graham experience. TGE, baby. Best to ever do it, best to ever will be, best to ever was. That's right. So, that being said, let me exit out of here now and say thank you to one and all for coming out. Everybody that popped up in the chat. I see you, I see you, I see you, Miss Smiles, Major. Oh, bad memory. See, I'm so wrapped up in the show. Major, congratulate Major Key. He had his 10th child today, beautiful little girl. So she was a beautiful night all around, even though she was born Friday, but we're gonna claim she was born today. So beautiful, beautiful little girl, beautiful little girl. So that's his 10th child. So he wanted me to big him up. So hey, I'm bigging you up, brother. Rightfully so. Bigging you up. He was there from start to finish, man. That's Major. Major to his core as a family man. He good dude. Good dude. I call him the building block. Shit, foundation stone, right? So yeah, so he has another beautiful little girl. She's gonna be tall and pretty, just like all the rest of them. So I have another niece to add to all the rest of them. So bless up everybody, one and all, right? Let me see me find this song to get us up out of here. I know what song it is already. You know, man, I enjoyed doing this tonight. I enjoyed it, baby. Really enjoyed it. Yeah, man. I really and truly enjoyed doing this tonight. So let me let me get onto YouTube right quick. See, this is what happens when you do what I do and how I do it, right? But look, more consistency, the more consistent I am, the better I'll be at doing this, right? And it'll just be nice like that into over time. But man, I enjoyed this show today. I really, really did. I really enjoyed the show today. Super enjoyed it. It didn't even feel like I had to do any work actually. Because trust me, when you're on here, you working. It might seem like fun from your end. Like, you ain't doing nothing but talking. But yeah, how do you build all that up? How do you do it? You don't come natural to everybody. But look, let me exit stage left. Go. I'm a little parched. Let me get something to drink real quick. I know you hear the commercial in the background, so let me skip the damn commercial. And here goes the song. All around, Matt Hoffa featuring Hands. Respect and thank you for coming out. Appreciate you so much. Thank you for changing my life and helping me live my dreams. Bless up.
Perception is everything. Some people just hear another song. Some people hear the greatest. A nigga used to have no chill. Nowadays I'm on side A. Traffic going bumper to bumper, stuck on the highway. It takes so long to get from Monday to Friday. Then you wake up on Sunday like it was just Friday. Crime pays an iron cage, had to find ways. I wasn't trying to slave a 9 to 5 till my dying days. Frank Sinatra, I gotta do it my way. Chasing a dream, some people look at you sideways. Like you walked in Adidas and asked for Kanye's. Fuck Peters a few times, he gave us Kanye. We wanna walk like the greats, that's why we buy J's. I gambled on myself, look at me now, I'm paid. could buy what I want in this bitch. These niggas try and get the fame. I just want to get rich. You ain't believing me before, you blind son of a bitch. I'ma see your ass. I'ma stun your shit.
Bless, sir.